Kowalah came about. I'm a mom. I've got 4 kids. I had them in 4 years, stupidly.
Yes, that's really stupid. All right, maybe quite clever.
Yeah, that was even stupider. But we totally understand the need for immediate childcare, or childcare if you know, working mom and you just want to attend a meeting and you just need some cover for a few hours per day. And basically, Kowalah came about when we moved to a new area. So we moved to the outskirts of a tiny village on the outskirts of Cirencester, and we lost all of our sitter network overnight, basically, and we couldn't find anybody who could help us. So we were new to the area, we had no family around to help us, and we had friends in the area, but they were literally keeping their babysitters' mobile numbers as if they were nuclear war codes. They would not share them with us at all. And the agency who we did use in our previous village was completely happy to send a sitter to us from 45 miles away, which we kind of thought was not very fair on the sitter themselves, you know, and not that much money. So, we would then text or email sitters' numbers who we did have, and they'd take like 2 or 3 days to get back to us, and then it would be no, we can't help you. And at that point, we would have already had cancelled our plans, and it was becoming a really, really frustrating process as we were going on. And my husband and I thought, so here's the other co-founder, by the way, we thought about this, and we thought, but surely there's sitters in every single village, town, that are around, but they just don't know where the parents are. And surely there's parents everywhere, just like us, who, or maybe just on their journey of starting out having children, have no sitter network at all, who are looking for sitters, but they don't know where they are. We thought, well, maybe there must be some kind of way we can connect these 2 groups of people together. And my husband and I used Uber quite a lot in London, and we were quite impressed with the speed at which loads of people could be notified of a request and then instantly respond. And we thought, well, surely there's somebody out there that's developed an app for sitters in the same way. And so we looked everywhere, and we could not find anything. Nobody was doing it in the UK. And so the only thing that was ever coming back to us from our research was like web-based platforms, and if anybody's got children here, they would have probably used sitters.co.uk or childcare.co.uk, which is very much web-based platform, where they still kind of took a few days to come back to you anyway, or they would just give you the person who they thought was best suited to your family. But more frustrating was that you had to pay to use the service just to read the profiles of the sitters available, who you might not necessarily actually want to book at the end of the day either. And so basically my husband and I decided, well, let's bootstrap, let's see if we can do this. And we decided to self-fund the first version of the app, which was released in 2016. We're completely both non-technical backgrounds, so we made quite a few mistakes along the way. But I studied medicine, and I had a medical practice for many years until I had the kids, and at which point I knew I was never going to go back to medicine. But I knew that my husband and I both knew that we wanted to do business together. We had loads of failed businesses, like 7, but we're eagerly trying to get there, and this is one of the ones that kind of stuck. And my husband has got marketing, sales, and technical background, so he knew how to speak to like the developer side of things. Whereas when I worked in the medical field, I was very much dealing on a large scale with employing huge quantities of people in industries, doing quite bizarre pre-employment medical testing to test mental health and physical health to see whether or not they were going to be reliable in remaining in quite monotonous jobs. And I did a lot of private investigation work and things like that as well. But we decided to bootstrap, self-fund this version of the app, and we released it into the App Store under the name Bambino. And this was all going, swimmingly well. We made huge, costly mistakes. We employed really dodgy developers who promised the world and delivered nothing but cost a fortune. In addition to that, our little name Bambino was basically just a name that we had just got just to test the market to see whether or not this minimal viable product if parents would actually want to book a babysitter through the app, or if sitters would even want to work on the app. And so we had the name Bambino for about 15 months when we got a letter through the post from a company in the States called Bambino, who had basically taken all of our information, launched the app exactly, but trademarked the name in all over the world, basically. And we got a stop trading letter basically come through the post, which at that point I was ready to quit. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then it was kind of at the same time where we kind of put our heads together and thought, actually, we don't want to be known as just babysitting. There were a lot of requests coming through for like daytime school run, overnight stays. Would one of your girls go on holiday skiing, come skiing with us on holiday? And actually we thought, it's probably a good time that we rebrand anyway, because then we can come up with a name that's just kind of be an umbrella term for everything that we do. And so basically the name Kowalah came about. But initially we worked really, really hard to get the first 10 sitters. So we only started with 10 sitters, although everyone believed we had a lot more. Just to make sure that they were the most highly qualified and skilled sitters, because we thought if the parent who books them gets the most, the best Kowalah experience, then through word of mouth, it would just spread through both the parent and the sitter community. And although we're still very much a startup, just last week we were able to secure our first seed round of investment of £250,000. And so basically we are now able to deliver through 2 years of research exactly what our parents want and exactly what the sitters want to see in the app, which is great for us because it was kind of make or break at that point. So development has started on the next version of the app, like as of last week. But the second thing I wanted to chat to you about really is about how our main challenge, which was how we got people to really trust our product, especially as we were kind of disrupting the traditional way in which people would normally book a sitter anyway. And we know basically that Kowalah just would not function without that trust factor. And for instance, nobody would necessarily get into an Uber, or you wouldn't list your house on Airbnb if you didn't really have trust in those services already. And so we knew that we had to kind of go that little step higher because of the fact that we were dealing with people's children. And then even more so, we wanted to be able to convince them that they need to book it through the app as well. So we got a lot of people going, I'd never booked a sitter through an app, but this is basically how we've gone around building that trust. So the first thing that we did is that we identified who our real parents, or the parents who would like to use our service was. And that's basically somebody like myself. I'm the ideal user. Time poor. I'm needing ad hoc, flexible care whenever I'm going to meetings. I want somebody to help me. I might potentially need somebody to do a school run, or if I've got a meeting in London, I want somebody to be able to help with an overnight stay. But I don't want to employ a nanny or an au pair. I just don't want to have to do that. I still want to be there for my children. Also somebody that doesn't have family around to help them. People like ourselves who move to a new area so they don't have that sitter network, or new families that have literally just had children and are kind of on their journey of trying to get their lives back again, so are wanting somebody to help them. With the release of our new app that's going to come out, our research is showing that basically family and friend recommendations are really powerful. And so for that reason, our app now connects to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and your phone contacts. So if somebody in your phone contacts has ever used a sitter, it will show up to say that with the rating that sitter was given. And basically, we've seen that people will book similar sitters to people that their friends or family members have used. We've now also gone a little bit step further, and we've created secondary connections, and that's basically with schools and like football clubs, rugby clubs that your kids might go to. So these are not necessarily your best mates who you're in your community or your social pack, but you've got similar backgrounds and that your kids play the same sports. And basically it will show if any sitters have used those, because it looks after those children from those areas, then it will show you as a potential match for your own family as well. Secondly, we also wanted to make the app a lot more human. And by doing this, we've now introduced video profiles onto the app. So for 2 minutes, the sitter will actually speak to you and tell you a little bit about their personality. At the end of the day, people buy people, and it doesn't matter how many qualifications your sitter has. If that person doesn't gel with your family, or more important, your children, then you're never going to have that person in your house. So those 2 minutes is a really powerful way of getting the message across as to who this person is, rather than just reading a flat profile, which is on predominantly your web-based platforms. The next thing is getting really, really good quality sitters. That was really key for us. Our service basically relies on making sure that everybody has an excellent Kowalah experience, and we have a really, really strict interview process. We kind of have changed the way that traditionally you would interview someone. And only 1 in 5 of the sitters who apply to us actually make it onto the app. So we've got quite a strict we've got some type of person that we want on the app to carry our brand forward into the future, basically. But also we have a really, really great support system in place for our sitters. We're on support for them 24 hours a day. If their booking ends at 4 o'clock in the morning, there's always someone available to help them, to make sure that they're getting home safely, and they'll always check in. When they arrive at a booking, they will clock in. When they arrive at the booking, they'll clock out, all done through the app. But also we have really great relationships with our sitters, which is really key, because if they get sick overnight or their car breaks down, famous pothole issue at the moment, or if a family member gets ill and they can't actually attend that parent booking, we're able to run an emergency search, and we can automatically replace that sitter very, very quickly to that family, so it doesn't disrupt anything at all. And what we've learned through the past 2 years is that if we've got a plan in place for damage control, then the actual experience for everybody is still great. Having the choice of babysitter is also really key. So most of these website platforms will basically just select someone for you who they think that your family suits, and will send the person to you. Whereas we will present a maximum of 5 number of sitters to you with different profiles, and you as a family member can choose who you think is best suited for your own children. Initially, when we set out, we thought that parents would only really want really highly skilled childcare who came from nurseries or childminders, au pairs, and all-in nannies, and those were initially the people that we had. But as time went on, and a lot of our friends and family members started using the app, and our own children, we kind of found out that, it didn't matter how much experience you had, if you didn't have that personality behind you, it just was never going to work. And so we changed our recruitment process slightly, and we opened it up to anybody who had childcare experience in the past, who had looked after children, who potentially was now a professional, architects, in the financial sector, but they'd all been nannies or au pairs before, but kind of the career path changed. And we saw an influx of applications coming through. We had loads of moms coming and working for us on the app, where this fitted in perfectly with looking after their children. They used to wait for their husbands to come